be ashamed of himself, his family should be ashamed of him, his friends should be ashamed of him, and nobody should condone this kind of behavior.
Former NFL star Antonio Brown is wanted for attempted murder. That's according to the Washington Post.
Former NFL star Antonio Brown melting down in a very public way on social media.
What happened to Antonio Brown?
He is no longer a buck.
And whether this is controversial or not, I really don't care that he's just not a good human.
This is who AB is.
For years, Antonio Brown was widely regarded as one of the greatest wide receivers of the modern era, dominant, explosive, and nearly impossible to guard. However, he had to work to get into that favorable position. At just 5'10" and 181 pounds, his stature meant that he seemed destined to be a late-round draft pick. But as he put it, being passed up by teams because of my size made me hungry. Through hard work, he went from being completely overlooked by every single NFL team to making history as the first player ever to rack up over 1,000 receiving yards and 1,000 return yards in the same season. And with that, everyone who'd ever rooted for him was vindicated, including himself.
Do you feel like some people are sleeping on you a little bit?
Just keep them asleep. No one likes to be waking up, right?
But somehow, the same unshakable drive that turned him into a superstar also became the very force that tore his career apart. And while the warning signs were there, nobody could have imagined just how wild and public his downfall would be.
Where are you from?
From Miami.
Miami? Okay.
You ever tried to suck a golf ball through a coffee straw?
Huh?
I asked her, did she ever try to suck a golf ball through a coffee straw?
It's your boy Luesta, and today we're diving into the self-destruction of Antonio Brown. But before we reach the point where it all squandered, you need to trace back to the early indications that his success and sanity was only going to be sustainable for a little while before the wheels fell off. AB's life was never going to be easy. His dad was busy chasing a rocky football career, which kept the family in a constant state of uncertainty. With all the chaos that came from that lifestyle, his parents eventually split up, and AB was left to be raised by his mom alone. Yet by 2005, AB was making a name for himself as a prospect in a way that his father never was, holding it down as a running back, quarterback, and most notably, a wide receiver, where he'd eventually make his name. But after graduation, his momentum hit a wall when he applied to Florida State University and got denied because of his low grades. After he headed to North Carolina Prep School, racking up 1,247 passing yards and 11 touchdowns in just 5 games, this eventually landed him a scholarship to play at Florida International University. And while it might have seemed like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, it would actually turn out to be the first sign that his temperament was always leaning towards self-sabotage. Before the season even kicked off, AB got himself expelled after an altercation with campus security, instantly turning that hard-earned scholarship into a missed opportunity. But as would often be the case, his troubled nature was overlooked because of his talent, and he walked on as a freshman at Central Michigan University, becoming the school's all-time leader in receptions, racking up over 3,000 yards and 22 touchdowns. In 2010, Brown declared for the NFL draft, skipping his senior year entirely, but standing at just 5 feet 10 inches with an expulsion from FIU on his record, most scouts didn't take him seriously. From AB's perspective though, the draft was never a level playing field to begin with.
The game is a political game where, write-ups, people make choices. And they don't always make the right choice.
After getting passed up by team after team, AB was finally picked by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 6th round, signing a 3-year, $1.3 million rookie deal as the 195th overall pick of the season. It wasn't exactly a blockbuster contract, especially for someone with his talent, but AB used it as a source of motivation to prove everybody wrong.
You know, when you have no money, that's good, but compared to the rest of the NFL, that's definitely on the light side. How did you feel when you got drafted?
I feel like it was a blessing. I looked at it as an opportunity, to live out my dreams, change my life, and put myself in a good position. I ain't look at it as, obviously the 6th round made me motivated to be able to, prove what I could do as far as my talent, but it was a blessing, man, for my family.
And to keep that chip on his shoulder, he chose to wear jersey number 84, a personal reminder that all 32 teams passed on him multiple times.
You chose the number 84.
Yes.
There's a meaning behind that.
Yes. 8 times 4 is 32. It's 32 teams in the NFL. So it's about, just keeping that hunger. So for me, it was about, but then having a career every year, just motivating myself to get the best out of the game and knowing that 32 teams passed up on me. So every time we have a dress rehearsal, I gotta remind these guys of what I could do.
Almost immediately, AB made an impact and endeared himself to the team. But just when the Steelers thought they'd found their next MVP, the lingering scars of having to fight for every inch of his success started to show. And little by little, that drive turned into chaos, lacing his career with drama and unnecessary controversies. In his breakout season, Brown let his personality fly, turning every touchdown into a full-blown performance with flashy, over-the-top dances that quickly became some of the most iconic celebrations ever seen in the league. But before long, those dances, which garnered headlines, started racking up fines left and right, and the league wasn't laughing anymore. At first, AB's teammates such as Ramon Foster had his back. Let the man twerk. There are other guys who have done worse. AB's just having fun. Don't make it a no-fun league. As for Brown, he showed zero remorse, brushing off the fines like they were just another write-off, and kept on dancing. But after one of his celebrations earned the team a 15-yard penalty, he finally had to dial it back a bit. I never want to put my team in a bad predicament. Maybe I'll keep it to a minimum of 2 pumps instead of 3. Alongside his unpredictable behavior, Brown's relentless ambition eventually put him at odds with his head coach, Mike Tomlin. After landing a 6-figure marketing deal with Facebook, Brown was encouraged to promote the platform's live feature, but that backfired when he went live from the locker room during a private post-game speech, exposing a moment that was never meant for the public.
Hey, man, when you get to this point in the journey, man, not a lot needs to be said. No. Let's say very little moving forward. Let's start our preparation week. We spotted those assholes a day and a half. They played yesterday. Our game got moved tonight. We're gonna touch down at 4 o'clock in the morning. So be it. We'll be ready for the ass.
While a few football fans pointed fingers at Coach Tomlin for taking shots at an opponent during the speech, the overwhelming majority put the blame squarely on Antonio Brown for broadcasting a private moment to the entire world. This is locker room talk, something that doesn't need to be on social media. Even Skip Bayless didn't hold back, calling Brown's actions a complete betrayal of his team and coach.
And let's keep it in-house, and you can hear a couple of the team leaders chime in and say, keep cool on social media. And then another one pipes up and says, it's a lion's den where we're going into this week. Keep your mouth shut and let's play Steeler football. And as they're saying it, Antonio is projecting it to the world and to the Patriots. It's like the ultimate betrayal.
Meanwhile, Brown's coach would condemn his behavior as selfish and assured everyone that there'd be repercussions.
It was foolish of him to do that. It was selfish for him to do that, and it was inconsiderate for him to do that. Not only is it a violation of our policy, it is a violation of league policy, both of which he knows. So there are consequences to be dealt with from his perspective. We will punish him, we won't punish us. And we'll do so swiftly, and we'll do so internally. And I'll imagine that there are consequences associated with the National Football League's policy in that regard. I'm sure that he'll appropriately absorb all of those things.
However, it didn't seem like Brown meant to throw his coach under the bus and apologized to Coach Tomlin and the team for his behavior. I let my emotions and genuine excitement get the best of me, and I wanted to share that moment with our fans. It was wrong for me to do, against team and NFL policy, and I have apologized to Coach Tomlin and my teammates for my actions. I'm sorry to them for letting it become a distraction and something that they'd have to answer questions about while we're preparing for a big game. Although he apologized for the situation, it was clear that the damage had already been done. His relationship with Coach Tomlin and his teammates took a serious hit. And while you might think the locker room drama was enough to throw Antonio Brown off track, it was really just the tip of the iceberg. Because off the field, his behavior would take a devastating turn, landing him not just 1, but 2 lawsuits that changed the public's view of him from lovable troublemaker to a genuinely deranged individual. In October of 2018, it was revealed that Brown had nearly injured a 22-month-old baby and his grandfather after he straight up yeeted his furniture off the 14th floor balcony during a rage-filled meltdown. As a lawsuit was filed, the baby's father didn't hold back, saying, "Brown's out of control and inexcusable behavior could have killed my son." His reckless tantrum displayed complete disregard for the safety of others. And when AB's coach was asked about the lawsuits, Mike Tomlin completely distanced himself from the situation, flat out denying any knowledge of it, which only made it more obvious just how strained the relationship had become. I have no comment about that. I know nothing about it. But in Brown's defense, he claimed that the outburst happened after someone broke into his apartment and stole a gun alongside $80,000 in cash. However, instead of taking responsibility, AB doubled down, publicly denying any wrongdoing and stating, "The facts will soon come out that prove my innocence." Which is strange because not long after, Brown posted a now deleted tweet confirming that the case had been settled. So why settle if there is no case in the first place? By this point, AB's behavior was becoming too chaotic to ignore. and it was starting to take serious toll on the locker room, especially with the team's leader Ben Roethlisberger. Antonio and Big Ben had dominated the league for years, but over time, AB started to feel like Ben wasn't giving him the ball enough, or worse, wasn't treating him like the superstar that he believed he was. In a Week 4 game with the Baltimore Ravens, Ben would completely miss a wide open Antonio Brown, instead throwing the ball to Le'Veon Bell, which made him visibly furious on the sideline, leading him to yell while flinging a Gatorade cooler. While the game officials made attempts to cool him down, AB just wasn't having it, and things only got worse when AB took the feud public, calling out Big Ben and accusing him of having an owner mentality like he was above everyone else on the team. Players know, but they can't say anything about it, otherwise meal ticket gone. It's a dirty game within a game. Although NFL fans were hoping AB would patch things up with the team, it was clear that his relationship with the Steelers was barely hanging on, and it was only a matter of time before it snapped. After a while, rumors started flying about a heated altercation between AB and Ben during practice, which caused Brown to miss the following sessions, and ultimately landed him a spot on the bench for the final game. Trying to keep the situation under wraps, Coach Mike Tomlin told the media that Brown was sidelined due to injuries, but in reality, AB showed up at the complex that day, and then straight up dipped at halftime without ever suiting up. To make matters even worse, AB later dropped a tweet that pretty much exposed the lie and hinted at what really went down behind the scenes. After the coach told the team I quit while nursing some bumps, then invite me to watch the show with the same guys thinking I quit. I cannot stand with that. I'm the bad guy though. We missed postseason. Think about it. It was here where Brown made it clear. He couldn't sit there and pretend like everything was fine. In his eyes, he was painted as the villain while the team missed the playoffs. At this point, it was clear AB wanted out. And when former Steelers employees threw a jab his way, AB fired back with a now infamous response: "Trade me, let's find out." Not long after, legendary sports writer Jason La Canfora confirmed what many had already suspected. Antonio Brown has requested a trade. I'm told it was not a demand, but that he asked to be dealt. Brown has issues with Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger. Feels like coach is too aligned with the QB. After a while, the wide receiver would officially announce his exit from the Pittsburgh Steelers, thanking the team that gave him his initial start in the big leagues. While Brown was on the market to be traded, it was revealed that Buffalo Bills were closing a deal to acquire the wide receiver. But with no interest from AB on venturing to the New York team, it was a desperate Oakland Raiders that took the gamble. And soon, they would learn that the chance they took on him wasn't worth it whatsoever. During Brown's introductory press conference with the Raiders, he seemed locked in, saying all the right things, and looking like a man ready to get his career back on track.
I mean, I'm here to help the program in all regards. You know, I'm here to make guys better around me. I'm here to elevate everything around me. I'm here to just be a surge of energy, of positivity, and a good force, a great teammate, and bring out the best of everyone around me, because we all know it's not just about me.
Unfortunately, just before the 2019 season kicked off, AB posted a photo of his frostbitten feet, the result of a chirotherapy session gone wrong after he wore the wrong type of footwear inside the chamber. The injury caused him to miss 10 out of 11 training camp sessions with his new team. But that wasn't the only issue. Around the same time, the NFL rolled out a new safety policy requiring all players to wear updated helmets. AB wasn't having it, as he claimed the new model messed with his vision and straight up refused to play with the new gear. And soon, many started to argue that Brown's recent absence from Raiders training camp have more to do with his helmet than with his feet. With that, it was becoming clear that the frostbite story might have just been a distraction from the real issue, as AB went as far as threatening to quit football entirely over the helmet situation. But in the view of his critics, the real problems went far deeper than a dispute over equipment.
You almost get the feeling that he doesn't want to play football. First of all, he claims that the helmet, it affects his vision, yet you have other wide receivers in the league saying it's improved their vision on the field. And also, take it up with the league. Why are you saying this to the Raiders? You signed with them. You knew last season you were going to have to change helmets. He's being petulant yet once again.
After filing 2 grievances with the league over the helmet drama and getting shut down both times, AB had no choice but to finally accept the new gear. But the Raiders weren't about to let his absence slide. In yet another inadvisable online post, AB shared a letter from the team outlining his fines, making it clear he was fed up with the organization and how they were handling things before he'd even caught a ball on the field. When your own team want to hate, there's no stopping me now. Devil is a lie. The very next day, AB took things even further, getting into a heated exchange with the Raiders as general manager during practice and calling him a cracker right in front of his teammates. When reporters asked about the situation later, it was obvious that AB had stirred up major tension. attention. And by all accounts, people like Coach John Gruden felt like all of the drama that surrounded him was overshadowing the team.
I'm not going to get into all this. If you want to ask about the Raiders, I've been talking about the same guy every day.
I don't know nothing about it, man. You asking the wrong person.
Yeah. I think deep down, I think he's a really good guy. So I'm frustrated. I'm not going to say any more about it. Hope it all works out.
Although Brown would eventually apologize for the incident, a lot of NFL fans couldn't shake the feeling that something deeper was going on, and that it didn't seem to be heading in any positive direction.
What exactly is going on with Antonio Brown? Are we talking about something that's deeper than what we see on the surface? Is it something that he needs? Does he have issues that he needs help with?
In fairness to those speculating, stirring up this much drama before even playing a single game, right after securing an 8-figure contract, is absolutely insane. And just when you thought it couldn't get any wilder, AB hopped on Instagram and straight up demanded to be released. You are gonna piss a lot of people off when you start doing what's best for you, and that's fine. I have worked my whole life to prove that the system is blind to see talent like mine. Now that everyone sees it, they want me to conform to that same system that has failed me all of those years. I'm not mad at anyone. I'm just asking for the freedom to prove them all wrong. Release me, Raiders. Just a couple of days later, the Raiders made it official, posting a tweet that confirmed their breakup with the superstar wide receiver. While the root of AB's struggles remained a mystery, one thing was still crystal clear. He was an elite talent on the field. So despite all the chaos, it made sense that someone would take a gamble on him. And if there was one team known for turning risky players into champions, it was the New England Patriots.
It's extremely real. A 1-year deal for Antonio Brown with the New England Patriots. Yes, actually, the New England Patriots. It's a 1-year deal with up to $15 million.
Even if some critics felt that he'd already had too many chances and that he'd brought shame upon the sport.
Well, what I make of it is that he's a disgrace. And there's no way to slice that. I can't excuse the kind of behavior that he has exhibited. It's absolutely positively embarrassing. He should be ashamed of himself. His family should be ashamed of him. His friends should be ashamed of him. And nobody should condone this kind of behavior, because when you look at it, you can talk about whether it was orchestrated or not or whatever. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. You forced your way out of Pittsburgh, even though a lot of people didn't like that. I was speaking to him at that particular moment in time. It was a business decision. Guaranteed money had ran out. He wanted to go someplace else. But what was your excuse in Oakland?
But with Tom Brady by his side, Antonio Brown looked locked in. He seemed focused, sharp, and ready to remind the league just how dangerous he could be on the field. However, unlike Tom Brady, who maintained a calm, family-friendly image, AB couldn't seem to stay out of trouble. He kept stirring up controversy and racking up lawsuits, with one of the biggest being from his former trainer, Brittany Taylor, who accused him of sexual assault on 3 separate occasions. In the first incident, Taylor claimed that AB exposed himself and kissed her without permission during a training session at his home. Then, about a month later, while she was at Brown's home in Miami, she alleged that he masturbated near her without her knowledge and ejaculated on her back, then later bragged about it through a series of text messages. She went on to claim that in 2018, after a night out at a Miami area club, she returned to Brown's house to use the bathroom and grab some food, only for him to force her down onto a bed, push her face into the mattress, and forcibly grape her. In Brown's defense, his lawyer would go on to release a statement claiming, in May 2018, she invited herself to join Brown and his friends at an adult entertainment club, and instead of leaving by herself, she solicited Brown to join her and returned to Brown's residence where the two engaged in consensual sex. However, AB and his team would eventually settle the case outside the courtroom. But despite all the drama swirling around him, AB still made his debut with the Patriots, pulling in 4 catches and 56 yards and a touchdown, reminding everyone just how dangerous he still was on the field.
Brady, end zone, caught by Brown, the newest Patriot.
And just when it seemed like things were finally settling down for AB, another sexual assault allegation surfaced, this time from an anonymous woman who was identified solely as an artist. According to her, she had been invited to paint a mural inside Brown's home, but on her second day there, things took a disturbing turn. She stated that she was in a kneeling position while painting when she turned to find Brown behind her, naked, holding a small towel over his genitals. But later on, a series of leaked messages from AB seemed to flip the narrative, allegedly showing that the woman was in serious financial trouble and, according to Brown's camp, was making the whole thing up in hopes of securing a quick payday. Although there were no public reports of a settlement between AB and the artist, the damage was already done. The incident added even more fuel to the fire and played a major role in the rapid decline of Brown's career, ultimately leading to his release from the Patriots after just a solitary game. With Brown's future in the league hanging by a thread, one thing was clear. His behavior off the gridiron was a far bigger issue than anything he did on it, leaving fans to wonder how it all could have gone so wrong. People forget this was legit the best receiver in the league not too long ago. Moreover, he didn't fall off due to the failing of skills. It was all due to his off-the-field issues. As things went awry with his career, AB began to engage in some strange side hustles. On January 5th, 2020, Brown released a music video for his debut single titled Whole Lotta Money. And NFL fans didn't hold back, roasting the Miami-born star and clowning the video all over social media. Even the song is longer than the time he spent with the Patriots. Y'all are hating, but this song hits different on mute. Whoever told this guy he could sing obviously wanted a whole lot of money. Even Logan Paul jumped in on the action, taking direct shots at AB in a diss track after the wide receiver backed out of a boxing match he originally challenged, rapping, "Mr. Whole Lotta Money going broke. Dropped from your team. Boy, you done for. Last time I checked, you were on TV for fighting with your girl. Now your kids look up to me." In response, AB let it be known that he wanted all the smoke, daring him to square up online. When your livelihood and public image is already threatened, getting into social media drama with a former vlogger turned boxer isn't exactly going to help. But just a couple of days later, AB hopped on Instagram Live and took things to a whole new level, recording his ex-girlfriend trying to drive off in his Bentley, all while he hurled insults at the cops and even threw penis-shaped candles at both his ex and the officers. And as happens all too often these days, his issues were live streamed for the world to see.
He reportedly threw a bag of penis-shaped gummies at Chelsea while the cops were there. And get this, his dumb ass filmed the whole thing on Instagram Live.
So you're gonna do a crime and film yourself doing said crime and present the evidence?
After that wild incident, the Hollywood Police Department officially cut ties with Antonio Brown and even returned his donations, publicly calling him a terrible role model. For context, Brown had been involved with the department's Police Athletics League for years, donating money and spending time with the kids. But all of that would come to an end due to his increasing number of domestic incidents, causing a rift between the cops and the former NFL star. And AB would go on to express his anger on Twitter. For many people, this would be a wake-up call, but Antonio Brown's erratic behavior was far from over. Not long after, he turned himself into the police, this time for allegedly beating up a truck driver during a heated dispute, all over something that didn't seem to have any real reason behind it.
First at noon, former NFL star Antonio Brown faced a judge this morning after he turned himself in. Police issued a warrant for his arrest following an incident with a delivery driver at his Hollywood home this week. Now he's facing some serious criminal charges.
Bro, why you think you could just stop?
As the case went to court, Brown was hit with charges of battery and criminal mischief, which landed him 2 years of probation, over 100 hours of community service, and a court ordered to pay $1.2 million to the truck driver for the serious injuries he caused. And just when things couldn't get any worse, the NFL suspended him for 8 games, even though he wasn't even on a team at the time. But despite his volatile reputation, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers decided to roll the dice, signing AB to a 1-year deal in what many saw as a calculated risk.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to the Super Bowl. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to the Super Bowl. That's what the hell AB means.
By now, fans of his knew what to expect. First, there would be a brief moment where it looked like AB was finally turning things around. But before he could regain any momentum, another incident would soon come to light. Just 2 weeks before signing with the Buccaneers, Brown allegedly destroyed a surveillance camera and threw a bicycle at a security guard in his neighborhood. While the reason behind his outbursts wasn't exactly clear, reports suggested that the Bucs were aware of the situation before they brought him on board. At this point, things finally seemed to settle down. Brown helped lead the Bucs to a Super Bowl victory, securing the Lombardi Trophy and giving Tampa Bay their first title since 2003. It was a clear reminder that no matter how wild things got off the field, AB was still arguably the best wide receiver in the league when it came to raw talent. But it didn't take long for the other side of his personality to show up again. In the following season, Brown was suspended for 3 games after being caught lying about his COVID-19 vaccination status. And once again, his harshest critics were out in force.
Tom Brady obviously vouched for you. You would do this to him? We don't want to talk about that enough in our society. We want to talk about somebody's action as opposed to the collateral damage they have done. Antonio Brown, when healthy, was an all-world receiver considered top 2 in the game.
You might think getting hit with his first penalty during his most successful run would have been the wake-up call AB needed to finally chill out. But instead, things took a wild turn, as Brown had a full-blown meltdown in the middle of a game, ripping off his gear, throwing his shirt into the crowd, and walking off the field in one of the most shocking exits in NFL history. after the game, his head coach Bruce Arians would announce that Brown was no longer with the Bucks.
Can you tell us what happened to Antonio Brown? Did he quit? I've never seen a guy leave a field like that, and is this the last strike for him?
He is no longer a Buck. All right, that's the end of the story. Let's talk about the guys that went out there and won the game.
In Brown's defense, he claimed he was being forced to play on an injured ankle, with an MRI later revealing broken bone fragments, torn ligaments, and serious damage. But his coach told a different story, saying he had no idea about any injury and that AB stormed off because he was frustrated about not getting the ball. Instead of taking time to recover and maybe plan a solid comeback, Brown has yet to take the field since. And in his time away from the game that was supposed to be his ticket to greatness, AB has now spiraled out of control in ways that now seem irreparable.
Okay, Antonio Brown is trending once again after allegedly posting a sexually explicit photo of his baby mama, Chelsea Kyrus, performing oral sex on his Snapchat. Now, she saw the video posted and she said, very well aware of what's being posted on Snap. I'm not in control of his actions. I have asked multiple times to have this part of our relationship remain private, but he refuses. I have reported his page and all pictures. Unfortunately, Snapchat is allowing him to repost.
Since his exit from the league, Antonio's life has been subject to one scandal after another, from his unwavering support of Kanye West to his near constant trolling on X with the hashtag CTESPN. It's as if he's been on a one-man mission to ensure that no team ever takes the gamble on him. But what he's doing offline is perhaps more disturbing. In October 2022, Brown made headlines for getting caught on video completely naked at a public pool, grabbing a woman and slamming her into the water. The footage went viral, and once again, AB found himself at the center of another disturbing controversy. Some witnesses said the woman was furious, calling out Brown's behavior and eventually getting him kicked out of the hotel. But the former NFL star still wasn't ready to fade into the shadows, because not long after, he'd earned an arrest warrant over a domestic violence case in Tampa, Florida. According to reports, the mother of his 4 kids claimed that AB locked her out of his Tampa home, threw her belongings out, and even threatened to shoot her. But somehow, the most shocking moment came when Brown turned on one of the few people who still had his back, Tom Brady. The betrayal hit its peak when AB mocked Brady's divorce on social media, implying he'd been intimate with Giselle, and even photoshopping his face over Brady's in a picture with her. And if you know anything about Tom Brady, you know he usually stays silent when drama comes his way. And that's exactly how he handled AB's antics for the most part. Even when he did speak out, he did so with grace and humility that, at that point, AB didn't even necessarily deserve.
I saw a post, I think from AB. You were just making sure that he was getting to his psych appointments. What's your relationship like with Antonio?
I saw a spark in him that I thought, if put in the right place, how incredible it could be for not just the team he was on, but for his life and what he could accomplish. We picked him up at the Patriots and he played one game. The next week in practice, we didn't have an incompletion the entire week. Like, that's basically unheard of. And we released him Friday afternoon, and then he came back after a suspension in Tampa. And then I just thought, okay, if I can help him, I'd love to help him because he'd help our team, it'd help his life, and I always root for the best.
But while Brown's off-field behavior was already wild enough, he somehow found brand new ways to stir up chaos in the business world too. AB tried to diversify by becoming a part owner of the Albany Empire, the same arena football team his father once played for. But just like everything else Brown touched, it quickly turned into a mess. He first claimed to own 47.5% of the team, then later insisted he owned the entire franchise, only for it to be revealed that he didn't actually own any of it. However, the team was eventually kicked out of the National Arena League after failing to pay player salaries and league fees for months. And while AB's chances of returning to the NFL look slim to none, it's clear he's still struggling to keep himself in check and also profit, as in 2024, it was revealed that Brown had been forced to file for bankruptcy. This was a far cry from where AB saw himself, as a few years prior, he had gone on podcasts and spoke about the ways he planned to get the NFL fortune working for him.
For me, it's all about, when I'm not planning to be able to make the big checks, I want to make my millions work for me. So partner with a, real estate company with over $1 billion in equity, putting some millions in there, just help my residual. So now I gotta wake up and look for money. They provided me interest off equity every month.
With his obvious desperation to remain relevant, AB would continue to make unhinged posts on social media and pick fights with celebrities and politicians, many of whom would be forced to address Brown publicly, like Gavin Newsom, who had to respond to the former NFL star after Brown claimed that he had been intimate with the California governor's wife. Seemingly more content in conflict than in peace, AB has continued to be as provocative as he can be. And while he managed to get away with this for a long time, his unhinged ways finally caught up to him earlier this year. In May 2025, AB was invited to an Adin Ross boxing event in Miami, where he would suddenly get jumped by several people. Even though he would manage to escape, the situation would take an unfortunate escalation, as shots would be fired right after he got out of the scuffle. From the different angles of the incident, it seemed like they managed to break up the fight, but then we would suddenly see AB running outside in a suspicious manner before the shots started. While the cops brought him in that night for questioning, they eventually released him and the investigation continued. However, just a month later, an arrest warrant would be issued for Brown on attempted murder charges related to the Miami shooting incident, with the cops alleging he was the one who fired the shots. Meanwhile, the former NFL star's reaction to the news was posting a carefree video of himself riding a bike in the Middle East on what looks like a brief vacation. By the time he got back to the US, AB was put under house arrest and ordered not to leave the state. However, in the most shocking turn, AB would straight up dip on everything going on, fleeing the country and thereby evading arrest. To make matters worse, AB would put out the most diabolical tweet in light of his departure. "I'm out the country. Ain't no more child support. Tell your mama get a job." At this point, this pattern of outrageous behavior and complete disregard of consequences has left fans and critics debating if it's the result of CTE complications from years of head trauma during his NFL career, or if he is simply a menace.
That hit that he took from Vontaze Burfict in a wild card game in 2016, Antonio Brown, in some people's eyes, has never been the same. He might have some issues because that hit may have done him
Oh, you mean
damage.
CTE?
Yes, that hit may have done him damage.
Fast track to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. You may not have messed around and got a championship with Tampa Bay, but this man was gonna be legendary. And what are you doing now? Scandal after 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 scandal.
Let me just breathe, right? I didn't know this was a vice for me. Maybe I need to relax, or maybe I don't.
Literally, it doesn't stop. What more do you want from me?
And the most unsettling part of all of this chaos is the media and fans' assessment of AB, after what looked like a potential Hall of Fame career has dissolved into complete absurdity, in turn making Brown the story of a man who squandered the opportunity to be an all-time great by proving himself incapable of reigning in his chaotic ways or simply maturing with age.
He was on pace to have the second most catches and receiving yards in the history of the NFL. He was averaging 114 catches and 1,500 yards with 11 touchdowns for 6 years. He could have kept that going for an additional 5 if this man ain't go off the crazy train, or I should say get on the doggone crazy train.